So I made a reel the other day about ganging, and it got a ton of questions. It was about ganging or not ganging. And you guys know the deal. If you guys got questions, I've got answers. You guys are watching Ask Stan the Man. How you guys doing? My name is Stan Banks from T-Shirts Side Hustle, and I help people start t-shirt businesses from home, wherever you at. And in this video, we're going to talk about ganging or not ganging right after the intro. Okay, let's jump right into it. But before we do, you guys want to do me, I need you to like this video, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, because I make videos like this all the time. Yes, I mean all the time. Now, it's been a while since we did Ask Stan the Man, and I'm excited because I'm attacking this new short form content. I'm trying to have some fun with it, get my reels and my TikToks together, and it seems like you guys are enjoying it. So I am going to be doing a lot more of it. So before we jump into this video, let's watch the reel. Is it cheaper to order gang sheets? So I got an order of 107 shirts. Here's the front and here's the back. Don't mind the custom ink logo. So I can order a gang sheet with some slight modifications, or I can order 2 single images ready to press. After running the numbers, the gang sheets are $27 more expensive. That $27 is gonna cost me cutting out my transfers. In this case, I'm gonna order single images because all I gotta do is press, and that's gonna save me time. Okay, listen. I did my best work on that reel right there, man. Reels are so much more time consuming than doing a video like this, but I really enjoy it, man, and I definitely am feeling the love in the comments, and I appreciate you guys for hanging out. So if you guys didn't see the reel and comment on Instagram, let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below right now. But let's get into the details of this video. First and foremost, you guys have to understand that it's a very short amount of time. And even in these videos, every last detail is not covered in every last video. You know, I got a ton of questions about what a gang sheet is. And sometimes you got to look it up. There's other content out there that I've created, other people have created that can explain these. But for you guys who don't know and watching this video, a gang sheet is basically putting multiple images on one sheet. And it could be 3, it could be 4. In this case, it was 2. The job that I was doing was for a school, as you guys can see in there, right? And I got a lot of questions about custom ink. For some reason, a lot of customers mock their stuff up on custom ink and send it to other printers. And that's why I said ignore the custom ink logo. And they're not a transfer company or anything that you will use. So one of the comments that I got was really interesting. I'm going to try to read this. You guys know you're going to pop it up so you can read it. But don't make fun of my reading because I'm just not the best at reading. But we're going to try to do this one time. All right. So it says, depends on the job. Definitely not always the case. Just had a 50-piece order that would have cost me over $300 for some tees, hats, and hoods, but it was only $198. Front and back, yeah, stuff, sure, it's probably close. But what about if you're doing brands and you want to throw neck tags in there and the sleeve hits or different sizes headwear? That's where you make the money. At just $1 a print for a neck label, it's an extra 100. But if you buy them along with 2 single images, you lose all the extra money from being able to fit them there. Takes less than 20 minutes to cut the gang sheet. I don't know what you pay people, but that's like 10 hours worth of work max, right? So I'm not going to read my response. If you want to see my direct response to him, I'm going to kind of sum it up in video here. So first and foremost, all this stuff is on a case-by-case basis, right? You're going to have to outweigh these things, but taking the time to set up a gang sheet, taking the time to figure out what your yield is going to be, and I'm going to get to this in detail a little bit later. Your yield is going to be, then taking that time to cut them as well, are all going to be factors that go into some of the issues that you could have, right? And particularly, this customer doesn't want neck labels, doesn't want a sleeve print. So that's kind of like null and void. We're talking about a school here. So it's kind of null and void in that situation. Now, as far as paying somebody, the way that I look at it is, sure, let's just say you pay somebody $15 an hour. I think his example, he says 20. So let's go with $20 an hour, right? Let's just say it takes 30 minutes. We're cutting 100 gang sheets. Mylar is thick, so it's not like regular paper. So you're probably cutting about 5 at a time. Even with a hand guillotine, you can run into some problems just because of how thick the Mylar is. But let's just say, you know, in this case, it's a 20-minute process, right? Let's just say a half an hour to keep the math simple, right? So it takes 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, you cut up these 100 transfers. You only pay half the money. So that's $10 for that half hour's worth of work. But that's 30 minutes that you weren't operating the press. In my eyes, pressing is what you actually get paid to do, right? Because that's what's getting you to deliver the product to the customer. I know this is the conversation in screen printing an awful lot where it's like, well, you get paid to reclaim, you get paid to clean out, you get paid to do all of this stuff around the shop. That's bullshit. You get paid to deliver shirts to a customer. And however you get that done is all that matters. Sure, you can calculate all of that stuff into your time and all of that stuff, so it kind of like compensates itself. But in all actuality, we get paid to deliver shirts. So that's the way I look at it. So that 30 minutes, whether it's you doing it or somebody else doing it, right? It's going to take you 30 minutes, okay? Could take you 20, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to get into the semantics, just trying to make it simple because I know I got you guys are like, I don't even know what to call it. But so that's 30 minutes that you weren't pressing. If you could do one press per minute, right? And I think that's a very, very fair time. One press per minute. You're losing out on the profit from each of those presses, which is 30 presses, right? So let's say each press, you know, the transfer with the markup from the transfer and a press charge of $1. I'm just going to give you a number. Let's just say you're losing $3 in profit per garment, right? You're losing now $90, not the $10 that you were going to pay somebody. Okay, so now what I would consider is that $90 versus the $27 difference that was in the reel. Which one are you gonna go against, right? And so that was my response to him. And then he came back with this one, and he said, "That's stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. I cover the cost of a person by doing the entire job just by adding $1 for tags and poly bags. That'll net you an extra $100, and you pay your employee for 5 hours of work and $20 an hour. The customer gets the value of professional look and labor. You pay someone just off upcharges that don't cost you much. Poly bags less than $50 for 500 on Amazon. Tags are filling up space on the sheet. Cutting doesn't take much time when cutting correctly." I disagree. Cutting takes a ton of time. And I've been to a bunch of big shops, and it's just a job that they want to eliminate, you know, because you value, like, first and foremost, one of the things they say is don't hire somebody to do a job that you wouldn't. Don't pay somebody to do something you wouldn't do yourself. Or me, I don't ask people to do things that I wouldn't do myself, right? And I don't want to spend my time cutting up transfers. Now, listen, could you hire somebody? Yes. But now you think about paying somebody $20 an hour and they're working for you part-time, 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours a day, or full-time 8 hours a day. You are on the hook for that person's entire day, every single day. That's $160 a day. Now, I get where you're going with the clothing brand stuff, but again, that's not tied into this situation because this customer is a school. They don't care about neck labels and they don't have a sleeve print, or I would have put the sleeve print on the shirt and I did the back and would have been perfectly fine. But when you look at this, you're tied into. So first and foremost, to hire somebody, and I'm trying to get people to think outside of hiring your homeboy and stuff like that. Listen, I call people in all the time if I need help. You know, I'm in here, I need to get somebody here to cut these transfers apart. You know, I believe in breaking bread by all means, but we have to understand that in the sense of scaling, you got to take this thing to the next level. You know, you want to hire somebody. I'm hiring my employee and I'm expecting a set amount of hours a week. In my case, 30 hours at $15 an hour, which is pretty much what, $600 a week, no matter what, right? Now, can you make that? Yes, again, but a lot of us look at what an employee is going to actually cost us versus what is actually charging or what it's actually going to cost us. So I got that completely wrong. It's $450. I don't know. I'm thinking 40 hours instead of, I know the math is off, but you get what I'm saying. So $450 at $15 an hour times 30 hours, which is $450. Okay. So that's first and foremost. Now you can bring somebody in, and I think we got extremely spoiled with the clear film sheets As you guys can see, like here, you get clear sheets where you can film, you can cut them apart and different things like that, and you can see through it. And I don't forget where I came from, man. Listen, I understand that gang sheets are extremely valuable. All this stuff is going to be handled on a case-by-case basis, like I said earlier, but some things to consider are the amount of things that are going on and the time it takes to cut. The more you add, the more cuts, the more time you're going to spend cutting. And yeah, for neck labels, it's probably best to just get a gang sheet with those or throw them on a gang sheet. But where you place them is going to make a difference. You don't want medium here, large here. You don't want to be creating all these different things. Put all your labels at the bottom and do a quick cut line so that it's very, very easy to do. And I'm going to make some tips about ganging things up. And I did a video with Supercolor recently. I'll link down in the description about like a good gang versus a bad gang. I found one of my old gangs and I'm looking at it like, man, it was terrible because back in the day, I probably got a gang sheet from like maybe F&M or 613 back in the day, but they had their full color program, but it was on paper. And if you don't cut these things right, you can't see through that paper. It is not a good look because it's really, really hard to line things up that don't have straight lines, right? You're kind of trusting your transfer company when they send you a single image that it's going to be centered because you just flip that paper over and you line the paper up straight and you hope that the transfer on the other side is straight. And that's their job, right? That's what they're paid to do. And that's a part of the process because if not, a lot of this stuff will come out crooked. So if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, I want you guys to put it down in the comments below. But I want to talk to you guys about something very, very important, and that is yield, right? So when you are constructing a gang sheet, and this is where you can spend a ton of time that you're not going to process quickly. You may need 200 of these. You may need 90 of these. You may need 30 of these, and you may need 50 of these. Now, I didn't get into size, right? But first and foremost, you got to figure out, okay, I need 200 of these. That means I'm going to order 50 gang sheets. I need to put 4 of these on here. So I put 4 on there. I need 90 of these. I'm ordering 50 gang sheets, so I'm going to put 2 of these on there, right? And then I need 30 of these. I'm ordering 50. I'm going to put 1 of them on here, and you just do that, right? But then some of this stuff may not fit perfectly depending on size and different things like that. So laying out a gang sheet and figuring out your yield could be super, super time consuming. And that is something that you're going to want to consider as you start to do a lot more of it. Track your time. How long is it taking you to set up the gang sheet? How long is it taking whoever you to actually cut those transfers? These are going to be things that you consider. And by the end of the day, you're going to figure out like, man, it took me an hour to set up that gang sheet, to figure out if I even wanted a gang sheet, maybe an hour and a half. You know, I compared, okay, I laid the gang out, took me an hour to get it proper. I needed to order another sheet as well because, you know, this one I couldn't quite figure out how to fit it. Sometimes you can shrink something slightly that the customer won't know. But just all of these things that go into it, it could take you an hour and a half before you blink your eyes and realize that you actually placed the order. And then you get them and you got to spend 30 minutes cutting them apart, you know, an hour cutting them apart, whatever that may be. So the time starts to compound on the backside of that. And these are things that we got to start to consider. I can tell you that the big companies that I've been visiting, I talked to that use a lot of transfers, they don't want people cutting transfers. They want people pressing because that's what they get paid to do. And, you know, you can disagree, you can agree, you can let me know down in the comments as always. But I'm just here to have some conversations. Of course, this may not always be the case. I just had an even split of a job. And it makes sense. Sometimes it's going to make sense to order gang sheets. Sometimes it's not. You know, sometimes you're going to order the front on a print by itself, and you may order a gang sheet for other parts because of how big they are, whatever the case is. Doesn't matter. You guys can, you know, take this information and do what you want with it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Listen, meet me in the comments. I want to keep talking about it. You guys got questions? Let me know. We bringing this back. You guys got questions, I've got answers. You'll see your question answered in a later video. This has been your boy Stan Basement T-shirt side hustle. Peace.